What's going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. Make sure that if you haven't, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell just so you're getting notified when I post these great videos. Now, I want to get to Sage Steele. I made a couple videos about Sage Steele. I'll put them in the description box. And I spoke about her issues with ESPN. And now I think she feels a little bit more emboldened to go at ESPN now, because she had to basically apologize for speaking about the treatment of ESPN employees and how a lot of them were forced to take the jab. She didn't want to take the jab, and I believe she still ended up getting the CV, which made her even more critical of ESPN. She had to apologize. They punished her, all for her having a mind of her own. Now, I'm not going to say I'm the biggest fan of Sage Steele, but I can appreciate when she stands up for herself at ESPN, which is a left-leaning sports organization that has lost its way. And now they are relying on identity politics. They're relying heavily on Stephen A. Smith because they really don't have much of anything else. They fired a whole bunch of people because people are sick and tired of what's going on in their network. So let's get into what Sage Steele had to say, according to the New York Post. Sage Steele, a star Sportscenter anchor for ESPN, is suing the network and parent company Disney over circumstances surrounding her being sidelined late last year. In the lawsuit, Steele alleges she was retaliated against over comments she made about the company's jab mandate on Jay Cutler's podcast last September, violating both her contract and her right to free speech. Joe Flint of the Wall Street Journal first reported the lawsuit. Sage remains a valid contributor on some of ESPN's highest profile content, including the recent Masters telecasts and anchoring our noon Sportscenter. And the ESPN spokesperson said in a statement, as a point of fact, she was never suspended, which is interesting. A source with knowledge of ESPN told the Post that Sage Steele will remain on air amid the lawsuit. Her contract is not up for a while, a second source said. That is because, Sage Steele is probably one of their best on-air talents as far as anchoring the shows. They don't have strong anchors. They've gotten rid of so many of their TV anchors. People have left. They've let people go. She has been solid there. Now, maybe she has a very reasonable contract that doesn't cost them too much money so they can afford to keep her on. But she's one of their few there, especially women of color, that they can put on TV. So, of course, they're not going to be quick to take her off air. Who are they going to put there? I work for a company that mandates it, and I had until September 30th to get it done or I'm out, Steele told Cutler, a former a former NFL quarterback who spent much of his 12-year playing career with the Bears. I respect everyone's decision, I really do, but to mandate it is sick. And it's scary to me in many ways, Steele said. I'm not surprised it got to this point, especially with Disney. I mean, a global company like that. The lawsuit filed in Connecticut alleges that Steele was benched by ESPN for the remarks and that the company forced her to apologize. In a knee-jerk reaction, ESPN and Disney relied on the misleading characterizations of her comments, bowed to groupthink, and forced Steele to publicly apologize and suspend her for a period of time in October of 2021, the suit says. The suit further alleges that ESPN disciplined Steele based on inaccurate third-party accounts of Steele's comments and that the network did not immediately review the actual comments or the context in which they were made. While Steele would have been off air for a given amount of time after a positive test for the CV, the suit says the company used the word sideline and taking a break to describe her on-air absence and refers to these words as euphemisms for a suspension. Let me say this about ESPN. ESPN is about pushing narratives. ESPN does not care about sports. They care about what sports can do to further certain politics, but they don't care about sports like that. They care about the money they make from sports, but they don't care about being a sports channel. They care about being the worldwide leader in SJW politics, with sports infused in that. So when you see what happened with Sage Steele, they did suspend her. But they are mutually agreed that they would say she was taking a break. And she did test positive for the CV, so maybe she could say she wasn't suspended. But she feels like she was. She feels like she was punished, and I think she was too. Because ESPN, look at what happened with the Rachel Nichols situation. I truly believe that got blown way out of proportion. Say whatever you want about Rachel Nichols. It got blown out of proportion. And Maria Taylor ended up leaving anyway. But because they're so mixed up in pushing these identity politics, pushing the social justice narrative, that any hint of any type of race issue, any type of vax jab issue, they're going to overreact. And that may have been the situation with Sage Steele. Because again, we don't know the conversation they had on the inside. We just hearing it from her side. The suit points to various stories in the press that referred to Steele as being suspended and said ESPN did nothing to rebut the widespread reports that it has suspended, otherwise disciplined Steele for her comments, because they were afraid of the Twitter reaction to what Sage Steele said. So they went with it just so it looks like they did something about it. Both because those reports were true and because ESPN stood to benefit from public perception that it had punished Steele for her comments. That's what it was about. It also alleges she was retaliated against by losing key assignments and that the network failed to stop colleagues from bullying and harassing her. That's the thing right there. Say whatever you want about Sage Steele. I believe she goes through a lot being at ESPN because I believe she's a bit more conservative than her counterparts. And I believe she probably does put up with a lot. I would not be surprised if they say things to her. They may even try to group intimidate. When I say group intimidate, they huddle up in their groups and they exclude her. You know, just juvenile workplace politics that goes on. Workplace politics go on a lot. And when you are somebody that thinks for yourself, when you're somebody that doesn't follow the group, you're going to be not only ostracized, you're going to be made fun of. The suit claims that Steele was removed from assignments such as hosting NYC Marathon and ESPN W Summit, an event she had emceed since 2010. The suit mentions several instances of colleagues criticizing Steele on air or on social media. It says that Steele sent ESPN executive Norby Williamson a screenshot of a tweet from Sportscenter anchor Nicole Briscoe, who retweeted a post from somebody who says she hoped ESPN no longer uses Miss Steele to cover women's sporting events, with Ms. Briscoe adding, "Amen. Even if it gets me in trouble, amen." No, when I read this, I did a little research on this Nicole Briscoe. She's actually married to a race car driver. You know, she on social media presents herself as the perfect wife and mom, right? But she's another one of these liberal Caucasian women that has an issue with black people. And let me show you why. She actually posted this on her Twitter. It's funny how this Nicole Briscoe, she works at ESPN, this wife, this mom that probably has other things going on, is commenting on Cam Newton. What does Cam Newton have to do with you? Y'all remember this particular video clip? They didn't show you the clip where he talked about men and he was very critical of men of today, but they played this clip anyway. This is one of the, if you go on her Twitter, this is the last thing she's posted on. It was about Cam Newton. Why is Cam Newton on your mind? Shouldn't you be focusing on your family? You're a married woman. Why would you care if Cam Newton talks about the type of women that he likes? You have these Caucasian liberal women all over ESPN who don't like Sage Steele, who don't like conservatives, and don't like black male athletes like Cam Newton. And that's my opinion. Oh, boy. The suit claimed that the tweet remained up 3 months later. Ryan Clark, former Steelers player, allegedly refused to appear on air with Steele and, according to the suit, was not disciplined. ESPN violated her free speech rights, retaliated against her, reprimanded her, scapegoated her, allowed the media and her peers to excoriate her and force her to apologize simply because her personal opinions did not align with Disney's corporate philosophy of the moment, her attorney Brian Friedman said in a statement. Sage is standing up to the corporate America to ensure employees don't get their rights trampled on or their opinions silenced. That's why they're melting down over there on Twitter, because Elon Musk is going to put an end to that. According to him, he's going to make everything down the middle. And that's what they don't like. They can't weaponize Twitter anymore, and they're upset about it. And they would use it to attack people who were conservative leaning, who thought for themselves, right? The suit claims ESPN violated Connecticut law and Steele's rights to free speech based upon a faulty understanding, her comments, and a non-existent, unenforced workplace policy that serves as nothing more than pretext. The lawsuit claims that Steele notified company HR of their wrongdoing this past February and followed up with a letter from attorneys. Tellingly, after months of defendants withholding prime hosting assignments from Steele as punishment, when they received her complaint and attorney's letter, they promptly offered her the assignment of co-hosting coverage of the Masters tournament in a blatant admission of liability and an obvious scheme to try to dodge responsibility, the suit says. Steele, who's 49, has worked at ESPN since 2007. She currently co-hosts the noon edition of SportsCenter with Matt Barry. She has previously anchored NBA Countdown and the Scribs National Spelling Bee. Let me say something, too, about this Nicole Briscoe heifer. The reason why she's speaking out against Sage Steele is because she wants to replace Sage Steele. She wants more prominence on the network like a Sage Steele. This is why she don't like Sage Steele. You know, Ryan Clark can be a clown. I don't have much respect for Ryan Clark anyway. He, you know, when you talk to him outside that ESPN bubble, he's probably one of the coolest guys you can talk to. But the guy has shown himself to be a bit of a buffoon, you know. But I hope she wins. I hope Sage Steele is able to get the bag out of ESPN and still collect a paycheck. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I will see you on the next video.